know that much about. I just know a little about the moral science. I just started studying moral science probably like about 5 years ago. So
Yeah,
I already
I've been studying this since '95.
Yeah, so you've been studying longer, almost. I was like 10 years old then. So like you've been studying for a long time on the moral science. Me, I only got. I mean, I've been studying and listening to the people that my Bible told me to go check out Taj Tariq Bey, Hakeem Bey. So I've been listening to those brothers. And then
Freeman
you just, yeah, Freeman Hill. And when I heard you gave me a whole, man, you increased my knowledge because you gave me a whole nother perspective on looking at this thing. And I love your perspective. Just made my whole view bigger. It made my view bigger than what it was. It bigged up it again because now I'm saying, okay, this shit is these niggas trying to force contracts on us. They trying to do all this shit. A lot of stuff going on in my head. You know what I'm saying? So I love your perspective. I love the way you look at things, the way you say it, and the way you call it. Because like my granddaddy said, call it like you see it, right? If it's a spade, that's a damn spade. You know, whatever it is. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, man, we about to get ready to get off, man. So I can go ahead and take my wife up into the stove because she got to go to a meeting at 8:00. So I got to go to the stove and be back for her time to get to the thing stove.
Oh, for sure. We got a nice little run in here. We got close.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's right, man. We do it again.
All right, that's right. We might be we're gonna be on sometime this week again, and we're gonna probably. I mean, we may have another topic, but we'll cover some of the stuff that we missed in this one. But I think you pretty much answered the questions that we needed to get out. So, man, we want to thank you for coming out, Brother Rod. Like I said, I'm going to leave his links in the descriptions to his IG, and I'm going to post the links to those, the ones that we looked up in the comments. And I'm going to post his Cash App in the comments if you ain't get a chance to show him some love. So, we're going to get ready to sign out, man. Islam. Peace, love, hotel, Shug, divine love, all through the boundless universe to all. Wadu.
So I'm gonna try to tag somebody in because I'm not gonna stop. You motherfuckers is not gonna stop me from helping my people out of this shit, and all of them my people. So I'm gonna do some invites to some of these people who know that I'm here. And we gonna let it, and we gonna keep on. We can do these we can do them in shorts. You know, we don't have to we don't have to sit around and do the whole video at one time. It's better if people can digest it faster in smaller bites. So they trying to stop it. They ain't doing nothing but helping me. All they doing trying to stop me is helping me get stronger. So the stronger the opposition, right? The stronger the opposition, the more they're gonna help me. Right. So this is what we gonna do. Like right now, I say I got 4 people watching, and I see about 8 people commenting. You see what I'm saying? I got another one. I got a picture I took earlier on the post I put up. The post had over 1,300 views, and then in the bottom it says seen by 100 people. So I'm gonna post that at another time. But so let's get to this. You're in the courtroom, join the other parties. Radical jurisdictional defect out the gate. You can't join the parties. You can't proceed beyond that. That's the first thing they call arraignment, is where they bring the two sides together to what they call advocate. Because in Europe, what y'all not understanding about lawyers, in Europe, in England, barristers are called devils. And they are called devil advocates. They're called devil advocates. Look it up. It's not a secret. Now, the barristers laid the play down under King George III. Now, I did a video called How Did We Get Here from Rulers to Rogues? And then another one, We Was Never Slaves. And this is all part of that. This is a continuation of those 2 videos. Will give you a whole lot of background as to what I'm talking about. So when we go in the courtroom for the arraignment, now let's say we figured this out. They'd already arraigned us, and we didn't have a preliminary hearing, and we didn't been sentenced. According to their system, anytime jurisdiction is brought up, everything has to stop until it is established firmly on the record. If this doesn't happen, it's an automatic dismissal with prejudice. Because jurisdiction is, in the case of those who look at us, it's not even the issue of state or federal law. It's an issue of treaty agreement. Because the Continental Congress, we allowed 13 colonies to have a land grant to set up here in defiance of England. England sacked us from the north. And they had us believing that the North and the South was fighting to free slaves, which is not the truth because there were no slaves. There were only POWs. And so when we become fully realized, we could see the whole timeline and all of the lies. Now, you got to remember, history is told by the victors, not the losers. We lost. Because I wasn't here, they kicked our butt. We lost. But I'm here, they know that I don't lose. So right now, I'm just waiting on, because the Son of Man has to ascend or rise out of Lake Orion, Michigan. There's a reason for that. It's the right hand. And this is what they don't want. They can't stop it. They can delay it a little bit, but they can't stop it. Because when the people start demanding that the big 3 or 4, Chrysler and GM, get down there so that they anonymous prime stakeholder can adjust the contract in favor of the worker. See, we got to stop them from everything is the assault on the worker. This to keep us in a slave state by keeping us in the slave mentality. I got all the keys. I broke all of the restrictions. All y'all got to do is just walk. Don't participate in the shenanigans. You get out of the judicial system by bringing up the jurisdictional defect. You can Google all laws commercial and it'll give you the exact law. When they said it was commercial, that switched you from the judicial system of justice, which they call the courts of Mott, or the sacred hall courts of Mott. Mott is pure balance and justice. It doesn't care if you right or wrong, it's going to balance the scales either way. And so right now, the scales are so off balance, you can just look at the lady of justice in their court. She blindfolded, got her sword of truth hidden behind her back, and her scale is off balance. That's a perpetual injustice. She's blind to any truth, and she will not speak the truth. So therefore, you can't trust their courts because it's all fictitious. They just told you in signs and symbols that it's a bunch of crap. So how do we get out of it? Challenge the jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction over a 5/5 fully realized God being. The only person that has sole jurisdiction over the body and the soul is Christ himself, the Son of Man. Actually, to tell y'all the truth, Christ is no man. Christ is the queen of heaven and earth, and the crown prince is her son. They call him the widow's son. The crown prince is the son. They call the widow's son. And his job is to open the way for her to return. That's why when you read in the Revelations, and the preachers like to skip over it, that there was 2 people was going down through there in Revelations. It was one dude that the Christ returned like a bride adorned for the Lamb and placed a crown on his head, and he became King of Kings, Lord of Lords. They never distinguished those two, because why would a man be dressed like a bride is the first question you need to be asking. When they say the New Jerusalem, that's a misnomer, or that's a deceptive lead. The New Jerusalem can't come dressed like no bride because you can't put no gown on no city. We all know how the brides dress. It hasn't changed in thousands of years. You can go back to the Egyptian stela, the hieroglyphs, and you can see the ceremony. This is what this is. We coming out of a judgment that was rendered in the sacred halls. They was allowed 6,000 years to rule with this deception in place. It's over. I was sent to break it. It's broke when you understand what's going on. So let me look through the comments and see, because this legal stuff is touchy. You got these people that's calling themselves sovereigns. If you are calling yourself a sovereign, you are tying yourself back into their system because you're using their lingo. If you call yourself any other legal terms, that like man, what is it? A living man on the land, a man on the land, or something like that. You tie yourself back into the system because they have a bifurcated system. They have an overlay. They have a fictitious system. It's not even real, but it's laid out over the demarcation of the nation, and they call them states. What is a state? A state is a very specific condition. When the president give an address, he give a State of the Union address. What do we mean? What condition are we in as a United States? So it's a condition. They trick us with the words. As long as we don't know the etymology, the definition can change by implication. So you have two different meanings of most words, the literal meaning of the word and the implied meaning. So to get from under it, you have to be 5/5 realized, making allegiance with the Christ as the only authority over you, and you have to tell him that. You have no standing and no jurisdiction. It's a matter between barristers. It's a barrister matter between barristers, and it's only paperwork. There should be no flesh and blood entities in there that's not a barrister within the confines of the bar. Because you're not a barrister, you have no standing in their court. It's not a constitutional judiciary. Look it up. Your state courts are called adjunct. ADJUNCT. What do that mean? That means it's a half a court. It ain't even a whole court. It's a half a court. Look it up. It's no secret. All this stuff is on the record in every Supreme Court ruling across the land, statewide or the federal Supreme Court. They didn't stated this on the record. It's not a secret. And so when you understand how their system is set up as a kangaroo court, if you are in front of an adjunct judge, he don't have any jurisdiction to practice law. If he's using the title of nobility, he is committing treason if he's claiming to uphold the Constitution. That's treason, punishable by death. Look it up. It's not a secret. They got it on the record for you to see it. I'm just going to point the direction. It's on the record. Pull out Article 1 of the United States Constitution. You got two parts in there where it says no state shall issue any titles of nobility or distinction. Then another part of it says the federal government shall issue no titles of nobility or distinction. Honorable is a title of nobility prohibited. So when you ask them if they uphold the Constitution of the United States, you can't ask them about the DC Constitution. You got to know when it was switched from the corporate Constitution. You're under the corporate, you like, for instance, General Motors is chartered and they locking you up in the basement when you don't perform your job how they want you to. That's what's going on. And the company that became known as the United States as a corporate entity was originally a slave trading company or a military transport company is what it was for prisoners of war. When y'all realized that slavery didn't exist and everybody was POWs in the colonies was like Guantanamo Bay, and the native Moors here, that's why you have your Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco, which Morocco didn't even, well, I'm not going to. You have your Treaty of Peace and Friendship with Morocco and the 13 colonies. Read it. It's very, 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 very important for you to read it. Even if you don't understand it, read it and read it and read it. Because when the Moors about to come out with some information gonna blow the world mind about all of this and how we reclaim our rights. They were restricted from releasing it publicly. They were restricted by divine law from giving us this information publicly sooner. They couldn't do it. They weren't allowed by God. Now the gloves is off. We can walk out of this peacefully or we can tear it up. It don't matter to me either way. My preference is to tear it up because there's so many ignorant and closed-minded people that is going to make the job unnecessarily difficult when I can just blow some shit up and get started all over. But mama said that you can't do that. You can't just destroy people like that because they got families, and that if you want to get from under the wickedness, you have to only thing you can conquer wickedness with is love. She said, love conquers all. That's what she told me. And I thought that was a bunch of fluff until I got hit by the love bug. So now here we go. Now, I told somebody that I love very dearly that I would move heaven and earth for them. And then they became threatened. So now I can't sit passively no more. I have to get active now because I had to move heaven. In other words, I had to kick the devil out first. I did that. It took me 9 months. It started in January of 2018, and we fought into September of 2018. And your governments around the world sprayed the skies with different chemicals and painting agents to conceal the battle that was going on in broad daylight, right in front of your face, and you never knew that it was taking place. And this battle that was raging, right? This war, it was massive, but it was on the other side of the sun from here. So you had two obstacles to overcome to see it if you didn't have what you call in-tune visual sight with the spirit vision, or clairvoyance is what they call it. And that is the actual illuminating rays of the sun itself blinding you to what's behind it. And the secondary, to ensure that nothing leaked through, they sprayed the sky with metals and agents to color the sky. A lot of they wanted to use the shades of gray. They wanted to use the shades of gray so that they can tell where they sprayed to cover up. Ozone is the double oxygen molecule that shows blue in the sky. That's ozone. That's a double oxygen molecule. So that in order to know if the sky is painted, they had to use something that made it look gray so that they can know the ozone was sufficiently covered. Even now, if you're in Michigan and look up, you'll see either a white or a gray sky. And then after a while, it's going to dissipate and it's going to be blue again toward the evening time because they don't want you to see what's going on up there. That's already taken care of. I done already whooped the Enlil punk ass up there. I already did that. All I got to do now is get the people to understand the code of righteousness, to the fact that once the sons of righteousness wake up, there will be no more opposition. All we have to do is start setting up cleanup systems. So I'm going to be recruiting women. I already started. There's going to be doulas, and we're going to teach these women how to give birth to children without all of the toxic influences of this devil's society at the doula center. The doula center is also where they teach and learn homeopathic and naturopathic treatments to get away from the synthetic pharmaceuticals. All this is part of getting out of the system. All this stuff had to be set up. So their judicial system is fraudulent. And they got all of us going into this fraudulent system, and we believe it's legit so wholeheartedly we submit to it. But it's not legit. It's not legit according to what they say, not what I say. They tell you their court ain't legit. They tell you. Now, I'm waiting on somebody to ask the right questions so I can unleash a full legal discourse to show you how fraudulent their system is early. I ain't supposed to do it yet because I got some other stuff that I'm supposed to do. So, don't let them join the parties, but if you pass that, question the jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is questioned by being 5/5 realized in alliance with the Christ. The Son of Man can be produced, who in turn can identify the Christ clearly for the court. They already know as soon as you say it, they're going to be like, oh shit, we lost. That's exactly what they're going to say. As long as they're wearing the Saturnian robes, y'all got to understand something about Satan and not Lucifer. They're not the same. Satan is Lord Set. In the term En mean Lord Set. They just took it and turned it into an anagram. They switched it around so that you wouldn't realize that you were seeing Lord Set written right in front of your face because it was an anagram. They took the back and put it in the front.